Dr. Sadia Iqbal, and we are going to talk about the development of the skeletal muscle. This is a revisit. So, okay. So, as you know, that development of the skeletal system takes origin from the paraxial mesoderm, lateral plate mesoderm, and neural crest cells. So, I hope you remember this. We have three layers of germ cells, that is ectoderm, mesoderm, and the endoderm. Okay, so this mesoderm basically divides into the axial mesoderm, paraxial mesoderm, and the lateral mesoderm. So the lateral mesoderm further divides or splits into somatic and the splenopleural mesoderm. Okay, so this is basically the skeletal muscle basically originate from all of these paraxial mesoderm, lateral plate mesoderm, and the neural crest cells. So in here you can see the green structure. So these are the basic sources of origin. So what happens basically? So paraxial mesoderm forms a segmented series of tissue blocks on each side of the neural tube. Okay, so this is the paraxial mesoderm, and you see series of the segmented block from cranial to caudal, which is formed on each side of the neural tube. This is known as the somites. So these somites are going to differentiate into the sclerotome, which is basically the ventromedial part, and the dermomyotome, which is the dorsolateral part. So basically the sclerotome will form the vertebrae and the ribs, and the dermatome will form the myotome region from the myoblast, and then those from its dermatome region will form the dermis. So we are basically concerned with the sclerotome. So initially you see that there is a mesenchyme, the embryonic connective tissue, which is a gelatinous star-shaped mesenchymal cell. The mesenchymal cell will migrate and differentiate into many different types of primitive cells that are the fibroblast here, and the chondroblast, and the osteoblast. Okay, so these are the bone, osteoblasts are the bone forming cells, chondroblasts will form the cartilage, and fibroblasts will form a sterile connective tissue. This axial and the appendicular skeleton, we are concerned with the skeletal system. So we are going to talk about the axial and the appendicular system. So mesenchyme, you see, this is beautiful picture of showing the mesoderm, that is the, you see, axial, paraxial mesoderm, and the lateral plate mesoderm. So you see the mesenchyme in the paraxial mesoderm will transform into the osteoblast, and that osteoblast will form the bony envelopes of the vertebral column, while in the mesenchyme in the somatopleuric mesoderm will transform into the osteoblast that will form the pelvic and pectoral girdle, and also the bones of the upper limbs. So you see here, this is the notochord, will form the chorda mesoderm. Okay, so the notochord will form the intervertebral disc, and paraxial mesoderm will form the head and somite. We have discussed, have the sclerotome and the dermomyotome. Sclerotome will form the vertebrae and the ribs, and further divide into endodome, autodome, and syndodome, while dermomyotome will form the myotome and the dermatome. Okay, so you see there is a lateral plate mesoderm, which have a splanchnic, somatic, and embryonic plate. So here you can see this somatopleuric mesoderm will form osteoblast. So ossification, what is ossification? The process of bone formation is known as the ossification, and bone develops during the intrauterine life through two basic types of the ossification. That is the membranous, in which the mesenchyme, again the jelly-like substance, will transform into the bone, and the intracartilaginous type, which, as the name indicates, the mesenchymal tissue give rise to a hyaline cartilage or cartilage annulage, which is the hyaline cartilage model, which will transform into the bone. So the osteoblast will convert it into the long bone. So this ossification has the primary center of ossification and the secondary center of ossification. The primary center is basically ossification start at the central part of the cartilaginous model. A portion of bone developed from its primary center of ossification is called diaphysis. Okay, so this normally appears before birth. So primary ossification is before birth, while secondary center of ossification appears at the two end of the long bone. Okay, so primary center is within diaphysis and the secondary centers are at the two ends of the bone. So usually they appear after the birth. The portion of this bone will develop into the epiphysis. So talking about the appendicular skeleton development, first we see that there is a skull which is divided into the neurocranium and the viscerocranium. Neurocranium which is going to form the protective covering around the brain is derived from the occipital somoid. You see, this is the occipital somoid. So this will form the neurocranium. So neurocranium basically undergoes membranous neurocranium development and cartilaginous neurocranium development. So membranous neurocranium is composed of the flat bones of wall, while the cartilaginous neurocranium will form a composed of irregular bones of the base. So neurocranium has the membranous neurocranium which form the flat bones of the cranial wall, while the cartilaginous will form the base of the skull. If we talk about the viscerocranium which form the skeleton of the face, it is going to derive from the neural crest cell. Now looking at this picture, you see the membranous neurocranium. Okay, this one, the yellowish one, membranous, it is formed by the intramembranous ossification. So mesenchymal cells are derived from the neural crest cells and the paraxial mesoderm. So cell, what are they going to do? They are going to encircle the brain and form most of the flat bones of the skull. So this is the membranous neurocranium. Now talking about the cartilaginous neurocranium, or you can say this, the green structure you see, they are basically the mesos formed by the combination of the mesodermal scleroderm and the neural crest cells. So they are basically formed, the cartilages are formed around the brain beginning at the notochord. So in this picture, you see there are the trabecular crani and the hypophyseal cartilage, ala orbitalis, ala temporalis, paracaudal cartilage, and the occipital scleroderm. Okay, so now they are going to fuse and form the different parts of the skull. So paracaudal cartilage you can see here, or the basal plate, form around the cranial end of the notochord. It is going to fuse with the cartilage derived from the occipital scleroderm. So it is going to fuse here, and this is going to form the cranial end of the spinal cord and the boundaries of the foramen magnum. While hypophyseal cartilage, it is formed around the developing pituitary gland. Okay, so this is going to fuse and form the body of the sphenoid. Okay, then ala orbitalis. Ala orbitalis is going to form the left wing of the sphenoid. We talk about the so these are basically the structure. You see paracaudal cartilage is forming the cranial part of the spinal cord with the foramen magnum, and while the hypophyseal cartilage are forming the body of the sphenoid, ala orbitalis is forming the lateral wing of the sphenoid. So you can see here, while the sphenoid and ethmoidal bone are formed from the hypophyseal cartilage and trabecular crani as well. All these pieces of bone fuse with each other to form a strong base of the skull, except for the opening wire through which the cranial nerves will leave the skull. Viscerocranium. So viscerocranium is again further developed through the membranous, divided into membranous viscerocranium and the cartilaginous viscerocranium. So membranous viscerocranium, you see this orange structure. It has a dorsal part and the ventral portion. So dorsal portion undergoes intramembranous ossification and gives rise to maxilla, zygomatic bone, and squamous part of the temporal bone, vomer, and the palatine bone. Okay, while the ventral portion contains the macula region, become surrounded by the mesenchymal cell that condenses and ossify by membranous ossification to form the mandible. the chondrial vistrocranium. We have just talked about the membranous vistrocranium. Now we are talking about the chondral vistrocranium. It's purple structure. You see highlighted here. So it again has a dorsal portion and a ventral portion. Dorsal portion forms the malleus, that is from the Meckel's cartilage, and the Meckel's cartilage, and forms the stapes and styloid process. While the ventral portion, you can say Richard's cartilage, that is from the dorsal portion. Now, ventral portion will ossify and form the lesser corona, upper part of the hyoid bone, and form the greater corona and the lower part. So basically, it is forming the hyoid bone. Now, the development of the vertebral column. So it is basically originating again from the sclerotomal cells. During the 4th week of the development, these sclerotomes surrounds the cells to form the somoids, from the somoids, and surround the ventromedial aspect of the notochord, which is going to form the centrum, which is the primordium of the body of the vertebra, and the intervertebral disc, and the dorsal portion of the neural tube, this part, to form the neural arch, and the ventrolateral aspect of the body wall. So these all are the basically sclerotome present, which is going to form the vertebrae. So you see what happens. So you see sclerotome basically appear as a condensation of the mesenchymal cell around the notochord. Each sclerotome consists of the loosely arranged cell cranially, you see this, and the densely arranged cells caudally. So they are basically going to fuse to form the intervertebral disc. So densely packed cells move cranially with the to form the intervertebral disc here. So the remaining densely packed cell will fuse with the loosely arranged cell and form the centrum, that is primordium of the body vertebrae. So each centrum develops from 2 adjacent sclerotomes. Later on, the notochord is going to degenerate. So the part which is going to remain here will form the nucleus pulposus. Development of ribs are derived from the sclerotome portion of the paraxial mesoderm, which is basically from the coastal process of the vertebrae. So here you can see, this is basically showing the fusion of the densely packed and the less loosely arranged sclerotome, mesenchymal cell, and this is the coastal process. So this is the coastal process here. So ribs are going to develop from these coastal process. So coastal process derive mainly from the thoracic vertebrae. Primary ossification centers appear in the body of the ribs and mostly become cartilaginous during week 13 and 14. Secondary ossification centers appears for head and tubercle of the rib at puberty. Development of the sternum. It develops from the somatic mesoderm in the ventral body wall. 2 sternal bars appear on either side of the midline, and which is going to fuse fuse in the medial part and form the cartilaginous part of the and the sternobry and the xiphoid process. So ossification appears cephalocaudally before birth, except in the xiphoid process, which appears during the childhood. So in neonate, the manubrium contains usually 1 center of ossification, and ossification at the lower segment begins shortly after birth, and that of the xiphoid process during the 3rd year of your life. Coming towards the appendicular skeleton, we have talked about the axial skeleton, in which we have seen the development of the skull, ribs, and sternum, and vertebrae. So limbs are basically derived from the somatic layer of the lateral mesoderm. You see, this is the 3 part of the, this is the mesoderm, red in red. It has the axial, paraxial, and the lateral mesoderm. This mesoderm is divided into somatic and splanchnic mesoderm. So limbs are basically deriving from this somatic mesoderm. So mesenchymal cells of this region become activated, and the limb bud become visible as an out pocket. So mesenchyme destined for the limb is covered with the apical ectodermal ridge. This ectoderm thickening and form the apical ectodermal ridge, which basically exert an inductive influence and initiate growths. So you see in A, this is upper figures are showing from A to F is showing the upper limb, and G to L are showing the development of the lower limb. So the distal end of the limb birds become flattened first. You see paddle shape to form the hand plates and the foot plates. Fingers and toes are formed when the mesenchyme of these hand plates and foot plate condense to form digital rays. Okay, you see this blackish line. So these are the digital rays which are going to differentiate. So these are basically formed by the apoptosis. Similarly, as the shape of the limb is being formed, mesenchyme in the birds condenses and differentiate into the chondrocytes. The entire limb skeleton is cartilaginous by the end of the 6th week. Okay, so joints are formed and chondrogenesis is arrested and a joint interzone is induced. You see, so development of the upper and the lower limb is similar, except the upper limb appears one or two ahead of the lower limb, and it develops opposite the cervical vertebrae, while the lower limb bird appears at the upper sacral lumbar and the upper sacral segment. So end of the embryonic period, primary ossification begins in the diaphysis of the long bone. Okay, and then endochondral ossification gradually progresses from diaphysis of the bone toward the end of the cartilaginous model. So you see the shaft diaphysis of the long bone is fully ossified at birth. The epiphysis is still cartilaginous, and secondary ossification center appears. So persistence of this growth plate provides interstitial growth of the length of the bone, and periosteum provides oppositional growth in the girth of these bone. Now the germ cell derivatives. You see, we have done the development of the axial and appendicular skeleton. Now there are 3 germ layers formed during the gastrulation and give rise to primordia of all the tissue and organ. The cells of each germ divide, migrate, aggregate, and differentiate in a precise pattern as they form the base organ system. So this is how so differentiation of the primary germ cell is the nervous system. From the ectoderm is the nervous system and the epidermis of the skin. From mesoderm, you will form the skeleton, muscle, gonads, and circulatory system. From endoderm, respiratory system, liver, pancreas, bladder, and GIT. So in this, you see first it was in a pre-primitive streak. Bilaminar embryos form epiblast, and the hypoblast is here. Okay, so the epiblast is going to form the ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm, and hypoblast is going to form the yolk sac endoderm. So this is at this stage, this is the trilaminar embryo. Now, ectoderm first will form in this. This is the early somatic stage. Is formed the surface ectoderm, neural ectoderm, and neural crest cell. While from mesoderm, there will be pericaudal plate, paraxial mesoderm, and lateral plate mesoderm. Notochord from trunk, this is the head region and trunk, there will be notochord, somites, intermediate mesoderm, and the lateral mesoderm. So this will form the cardiogenic mesoderm, and these will form the somatic mesoderm and splanchnic mesoderm, this lateral plate mesoderm. So epiblast, then there will be endoderm, definite endoderm, and the extraembryonic xylem. So the main derivative from ectoderm will be epidermis, hair, nails, ends of the skin, the spinal cord, neural crest cells, sensory nerve cells, and some nervous structure, pigmented cell, portion of the skeleton, blood vessel in head and neck. Notochords we have seen that the development of the nucleus pulposus of the intervertebral disc. Somite will form the sclerotome, and the sclerotome will form the vertebrae and ribs as we have discussed. Dermatome will form the dermis of the dorsal body, and myotome will form trunk and limb musculature. Intermediate mesoderm will form the kidney and the gonads. Lateral plate mesoderm is further divided into somatic, and the splanchnic somatic will form serosa, dermis of the ventral body region, and the connective tissue of the limbs, bones, joint, and ligaments. While splanchnic will form the wall of digestive and respiratory tract, visceral serosa, heart, and blood vessel. Endoderm will form the epithelial lining of glands, digestive, and the respiratory tract. Okay. So here we have talked about the appendicular axial skeleton. So if you have any question, you can ask to chat box. So basically, the main source of origin is the paraxial mesoderm, lateral plate mesoderm, and the neural crest cells. All right. Let me show you the last two slides. Wait. Okay. So this is a general, quick review of the system. You must have done the detail in your first year and second year. Just a quick review. Okay, hope it's clear. Okay. Okay. Thank you.